Yes, sir.
These are things we have already discussed, right? So I start with this production context. Very simple example. Please understand the basic because you not get the key points, then you will struggle. Right? So the direct participation is important. And also, if you have any doubts, then and there you have to clarify that. Otherwise, it will accumulate, and finally, you may feel that fear or uncontrollable or difficult area. But it's very interesting and easier subjects. Okay. So I'm repeating again the same context. If you have any misunderstanding, you can ask, no problem. It's fundamental. If you have any issue, you can chat on. Right. So the context is this. The problem context is this. Productions, organizations plan to produce two products, and there are requirements, material requirements from all three types of materials are given. And also the product two, there are that also need to use three materials. Remember, both products needed three materials. Sometimes, sometimes there may be three materials. The product may be only require two materials. That is also practically. So, but in this case, for your easy understanding, all three materials are required for both product one and product two. And per unit requirements. Remember always the given information are per unit requirements to produce one unit product one, another requirements. To produce one unit to product two, another requirements. All are per unit requirements. Always we have to do that. And also that manufacturers they have roughly or estimated calculations of the net given product one and product two. That is also per unit requirements. Per unit 20 rupees, net rupees. So it's a term is not profit, it's a net profit is included. All these expenditures are not net profit and product one and product two also units. And also the monthly availability or weekly availability, per day availability may be given. So this is monthly availability is given. And 26,000 kilogram and material 3, 22,000 kilograms. So the question is how many units we have to produce in product 1 and 2 in order to maximize efficiency. So earlier we have did by trial and error methods, right? Put the tables, right? I formulated equations for the profit equations and objective function equations. So we want to know about how many units, right? So for the units we have to define. We don't know that how many units. So there are two products. So the product one, we have to use the notations. Product two, we have to use the notations. Because how many units? To represent the units, we need a symbol or a notation we need. That's why I'm considering number of units we are going to produce in product one, consider as X. It may be 1, 0 or 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. All are positive values. And number of units we are going to produce in product two also Y. Right? This is not mandatory. You can take X or Y or Z or A or D or C or P or Q. That is very letters you can consider. Alpha or beta, anything you can consider for your easiness. But you have to clearly define this definition is needed. Definition so the is needed. Otherwise, nobody's know which product denotes X, which product denotes Y. So that is the scenario. Then just I develop a table and give the summarize the information in a table format to understand the total profit equal 20x plus 25y because this is given data is given 20 net profit on 20 rupees and 25 rupees. So that is the profit relating information. That is our objective function. This is a function. TP is equal 20x plus 25y. So what does it mean in practical terms in a business context or in this above context? So we are going to plan to product two products. Number of units we are going to produce in product X considered as X units. Number of units we are going to produce in product 2 is considered as Y units. So per unit profit is 20 for product 1. This is 25. So we have to find the total profit. So therefore total profit equal 20x plus 25y. Right? So this equation we have easily formulated. Right? This is called objective functions. That is profit objective is to profit maximization. This is also called objective function because our objective is to maximize the profit. Because you see the questions, how many units we have to produce in product 1 and product 2 in order to maximize. Okay. So that is the questions we have to find the answer. So therefore, the objective is to find how many units we have to produce in product 1 and 2 in order to maximize the profit. So objective function is infinite. So we cannot earn unlimited profit because some quantities we are using, materials, labors, or any other things we could produce, is given as a limitation, constraint. So it's called a limiting factor or constraint. So because we cannot earn unlimited profit. So okay, product 1 is going to 20, product 2 is going to 25 profits, 20 rupees profit per unit. So the shall we product 1,000 units? So that is our profit maximization is subject to constraint. We have to identify the limiting factor. Material 1, material 2, and material 3. Okay, availability also I have placed here. 24,000 kilogram, 26,000 kilogram, 22,000 kilograms. Okay, and also the textual information, the information is given in the paragraph. I have the requirements. So this 200 means to produce 1 unit for the product 1. To produce 1 unit in product 1, we need 200 units in material. So why we have to text here? We are using how many units we have to produce in product 1? Consider 6. Whatever produce, we have to multiply to know the total consumptions, the total requirements, right? That's why we have to 200x. Okay. So that's second one. Second material, how many units needed to produce 1 unit of product 1? 300 units. 300x. So per unit required. The material 3, also we need 300 units to produce 1 unit of product 1. Therefore, we are putting x respectively, x, 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 because these are the, now whatever the quantity we produce, that is denoted as x in product 1. Okay. So therefore, we put 200x, 300x, again 300x. These are the information relating to product 1. And if you go to the next one, this is product 2. That is also given. Produce 1 unit in product material 1, 200 units. So this is number of quantities. Why they are, you know how many? We have to count. Then material 2 also 200. So 200 y. Material 3 also 100. Material 300 units, they are 100 y. So now you see that because why we have to add the here additional, right? The relationship is addition plus, because we combine these, we are going to produce these. That is the plan. So these materials are common for both. Material 1 also common for both. Material 2 also common. Also common for. So therefore, the 200 first equation is the constraint for material. We put it 200x plus 200y. I'm using a notation called less than equal. You see that 24,000 is given to us. So if you want, you can utilize all 24,000 or less than that. That is possible, right? So therefore, there are two things: less than or equal. Because the equations, the mathematical model, we have to clearly define everything. Otherwise, we cannot find the solutions. So in a quantitative model, we have to define everything clearly. Otherwise, we cannot find the solution. So that's why 200x plus 200y less than or equal 24,000. is less than or equal 24,000 means we can, if we want, we can utilize more 24,000 kilogram is available for the per month. Or if needed, we can less quantity also. We can use 20,000, 21,000, 23,000, 23,500 also. We can use for 20,000 and 600 also we can use. So therefore, that's why this notation is, because this is a limiting factor. Maximum we can utilize more, otherwise less than. So therefore, this explanation is applicable to all three materials. That's why all these three materials we have less than or constraints. Okay. Now the constraint subject to constraint, because our profit maximization and profit maximization, so the total profit maximization is subject to following conditions. So that's why I put a term called subject to constraints of the conditions or limiting factors. So how many limiting factors are here? Students, how many limiting factors are here? So students, how many limiting factors are here in this exam? Hello? Hello students, how many limiting factors are there? You can click on the chat. You have difficulties to talk. Your number. Nobody is here. Hello students, are you here? How many limiting factors are there students in this example?
Five, sir.
Five. Why? Why you are saying five? That is first one. Okay, thank you for answering first, right? So what is first one? You can say no problem then. So if you are not clarify your doubts, then you cannot understand that. That is a big issue, right? So even the Zoom, though I saw physical lectures, so it's very, very difficult to learn these subjects. So yes, MS 86 says six factors, sorry, three factors. Okay, thank you. Because limiting factors means the constraints or the limiting factors mean if you read the factor one material that's loaded, but you will learn easily those things, those definition and terminologies. Please read that. Limiting factor means here three, because these three limiting factors, material one, material two, and material three, are constraint for us. So it's limit to achieve unlimited. We cannot earn even if there are profit for 20 rupees per unit in X product one, 25 rupees in rupees per unit profit in Y. The product two, we cannot earn unlimited profit because of this limiting factor. So these three, material one, material two, and material three, are limiting factors or limitations. So three factors, right? Okay. How many products? How many products? Okay, right. Three limiting factors. So how many is then the okay. So then there is other form of equation x. So here there is no plus. So plus x plus y. You see the x comma y, because we can write it individually, right? We can write it x greater than equal 0, right? X greater than or equal 0. This way also we can write it y greater than or equal 0. This is the way also we can write it, this non-negativity constraint, right? Because two lines are needed, right? Two places again and same thing. That's why I put x comma y greater than or equal to 0. This is non-negativity constraints. You have to understand about this because any circumstance we are producing minus values. See, practically any company can produce a minus number. No, if they are not produced, what is the value it will take? Not producing, what is the value it will take? Not producing, not producing, what is the value? Equal,
Zero.
not producing 0. If you produce, that is 1, 2, 3 like that positive values. That is also we have to define.
Zero.
That is also we have to define in mathematics. That's why we say x comma y greater than or equal 0. If you are not produce, it will take 0, equal to 0. Otherwise, more than that. Right? It's never take negative value. So this way also we can write it individually. So I did delete it. So I put it x comma y greater than or equal 0. This is about non-negativity constraint. So because in a mathematical model, we have to define everything clearly. Because we are finding the solutions by solving the equations. Equation has to be perfect. Model should be perfect. Otherwise, we cannot find the solution. If there are some lapses in the model formulations, we cannot find the solutions. So therefore, it should be very clear in formulating the model. So x comma y greater than or equal to 0, right? So that is about non-negative constraint. There is no. So you may counter this as also constraint. That may some of you say 2 or 5, right? This is also constraint, but the thing is not limiting us to produce unlimited profit, right? This is a equation wise mathematically this has to be there. Okay, so now you have to see that in the table format we have organized and given to that. After that, I have to make a very removing the table. I make it very nicely, right? Objective functions P, profit, net profit, whatever you want to put in, no problem. Total profit, net profit equal 20x plus 25y. What does it mean, this 20? Tell me, anybody? What does mean this 20? Now, in your chapter 1, which I have uploaded, everything is there, students. Please read through it. Otherwise, you can understand. You are already going through it, prepared, and when I am explaining, you can easily understand. What is this x? What is this x? Sorry, 20. 20 stand for what? 20 indicate what? Even in the sum, no. 20 indicate what? Net profit to product 1. Right? Net profit to product 1. Well, 25 indicate net profit to 2. X indicate number of units we are going to produce sell in the product. Y indicate number of units we are going to sell or produce in product 2. So you have to know clearly the why we have to put it plus, right? We are not putting minus because we are going to find the total profit, right? 20x and y. That is our objective. This objective functions achieving the objective functions. Subjective limiting to these three constraints: material 1, material 2, and material. So 200x plus 200 grams. You see, this is the units. Units. This is 200 is a unit. 200 is a units. Right? Kilograms. This is kilograms. Units. 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 Right? Not there. 200x plus 200y less than or equal to 82,000, and 300x plus 200y less than or equal to 2,000, and 300x plus 100y less than or equal to 22,000. No, so x comma y less than or equal to same information without table, right? To understand easily. Then what we have this is then we want to, before that, yes, in the first class I have shown that trial and error methods, that we put it to find it and put it some values asking to check. So if you can do them in the first class, it's okay. So if you are producing this much quantity, this balance becomes used. Okay, let's do it. The 2 units, so each 100 is used, 23,200 is used. That's, you are producing 2 units in that one. That there are 1 unit, it is a status. Like we have, like, when you understand it, while we are producing, that is, that way, if you are finding a finding a solution in such a way, it's termed as a trial and error method. There is no scientifically approved method. Just we are using a trial and error basis to find some solutions. Okay, so that is not applicable to for the, that is not a scientific. Just for our knowledge, we are using and finding it. So now we have to need a standard method to predict. We are going to and find the answer. How many units we have to produce into that moment. From these equations shaded, can you see that, student?
Yes, sir.
From these equations, we have to move into some transformations because there are inequalities. This is called inequality signs of they are. Before we able to sort it out any equations, we have to remove the inequalities. So therefore, we take this constraint 200x plus 201 plus s1. I am using a variable or slack variable. Name of this variable is called slack variable. Name of the variable is called slack variable. Usually this is the name of this variable, slack variable. Slack variable, all of these slack variables represent unused resource, unused material. One. How many slack variable I have used here? How many slack variable I have used?
3.
3. S1, S3. Why 3 is needed? Can you say,
Different materials.
sorry?
There are 3 different materials for
3
product.
different methods. The number of select variable is going to be decided by which factor? Number of constraints, number of constraints, or the number of material related with the particular problem. Here material 1. So S1, all the places representing which material?
Material 1.
Material 1. Okay, very good. Always you can keep in your mind, wherever is you found S1, in this example, in these examples, material 1 is represented by S1. Which one is so now? Currently, S1 is in this equation. What is the value of S1? First equation. What is the value of S1? Any brilliant students? In the first equation, what is the value of S1? Anybody? What is the value of S1 in the first equation? Don't worry about it. Maybe wrong, no problem. You have to say that.
0, sir.
What is the value of S1? I couldn't hear, students. Okay, value of S1 is 0. Wrong. Value of S1 is 23,600. No. Right? Okay. Value of S1 is 0. No. Now I am clarifying more. Right? So we are not producing any units. So X1, X is 0. X is 0. Y is also 0. X is also 0. Y is also 0. Now what is the value of S1?
24,000.
24,000. So in the first equation, you are not produce anything. The value of S1 is 24,000. Right? Don't forget, you have to note it somewhere. Why it is taking 24,000? Because so far we are not starting any fractions. Fraction quantity is 0. Fraction quantity is 0. Therefore, we take 24,000. Now in the second equation, if you are not producing anything, what is the value of S2? What is the value of S2 in the second equation? What is the value of S2 in the second equation if you are not producing? That is 26,000, right? Because we are not producing anything, right? We are not producing anything, therefore it will take 26,000. So in the third equation, the value of S3 also 22,000. Because why? That is also same answer, because we are not producing anything. Therefore, you have to understand the role of S1, S2, S3 in this equation. We are not producing, that value is total availability of metal. While start to produce, this will decline, reduce, and by 1, right? So that is the scenario. Right. Now, so S1 is be added here to represent the balance to unused resources of material 1. So you have to understand why we have introduced S1 here. Right? Why we have introduced S1 here. You have to say the reason. Represent unused resources in material 1. S1 is connected with material 1, not any other thing. Then why you have to use S2 in the second equation to represent balanced or unused material with material 2. We are not producing anything, all are balanced material. So why we have to use S3 to represent any used or balanced resources in material 3. So you have to know why we are using this. And also, moreover, apart from this, you can see that the objective function also I have added 0 S1 because unused material is not going to give any profit. Okay, only the particular product is giving a profit. We cannot argue that we can use unused material, we can get some profit. Here that assumption is not working. The assumption is unused materials are not giving any profit. So that's why C in S1 plus C in S2 to represent this, and 0 S3, 0 S3 to represent this. So now you see that I will put some arrow mark. Easily understand. This S1 is connected to this. Right? This S1 is somebody is brushing now and following the class. Right? You see that how quality of the people we have. Thomas 109, the table is brushing. The switch on the video. You see the time? Right? Thomas 109, right? The switch on the video and brushing now at the is 11:43. That is your quality, right? You also get university admissions. You see where Sri Lanka is there. 11:30 you are brushing. And also you put switch on the videos. Right? So you see that S1, S2, S3. Because another one you will fail, I think this. 109. Yes, 109. Right? S1 is here objective functions representing material 1. Here material 2 S2. Right? Here material 3. That is the purpose of showing this arrow marks. So because these representations are given in the objective function as well. Right. Now I will develop a table. We will place all these values in the table form. Right? We get a solution. Right? You see X, Y, S1, S2, S3. These are the things in the objective function. X, Y, S1, S2, S3. Tj, there is first variables I have introduced here. Then there is a row. Another row I have introduced. Name of this row is Cj. You see actually what are the things that they are per unit physics. Okay. So this Cj is a notation to represent the per unit profit. Select 1, select 2, select variable 1, select variable 2, and select variable 3. Okay. That's that. That I have put it. Yes, now I make it all this a red color because they have blue look, right? Then I am using Then I am using 3 rows. Right? You can see S1 like variable 1, that is there are 24,000. Like 1, S1, right? S2, all the changes I made, make it red down. Have you observed? And S3 in 22,000, right? So then you see that the profit coefficient 0, 0, is 0. Again, I have put it again here. S1 0, S2 0, because there is no profit, right? Transaction is not started. Then material requirements. I have placed material requirements. You see this 200, 200, 300, 200, 300, 100. These are material requirements. So I have put it here, all these material requirements. So this is relating to X, material 1. This is 300 relating to X, material 2. This 300 relating to X, material 3. Similarly, Y, 200, 200, 100. I have put it to represent material 1, 2, 3 respectively. So how it has 1? Here you see that. Here I put it 1 for S1 because that is coefficient of this one. Here really 1 is there, but we are not putting, right? Here 1 is there, but normally we are not putting. So that is the coefficient of this S1. I put it 1. But in the first line, first row, you see that S2 0, S3 also 0 because S1 is only for material 1. That's why other things are getting 0. Then second row, you see S2 leading to S2. This is 1. The S1 and S3 are in that row 0. So in the corner, this diagonal values will be 1, 1, 1. And similarly in S3, you see here 1. Other S1, S2 are getting 0. So it's like a matrix, right? So we have to carefully do that because here coefficient is 1, here 1, here 1. Molar plus value, therefore no problem. Here 24,000, so I have put here this material 1, 26,000, 22,000. Right? So now I have filled all these things. After that, another row I introduce as a surrogate. This is the calculation row. How we have to do the calculations, I will tell you now. This 0 has to multiply by this 200 plus. Right? Actually, we got this value. This 0, S1 0, 0 has to multiply by this value. 200. 200 plus, right? This second 0, S2 0, has to multiply 0 has to multiply by the 300, this 300, right? This 300 plus again this 0 has to multiply by 300. So if you add all, you will get 0. That is this 0. Right? That is this 0. Similarly, you have to again do it 0. This 0 has to multiply by 200. This 0 has to multiply by this 200. This 0 has to multiply this 100, and we have to add the whole, that is also 0. Again, third, this 0 has to multiply by this 1. This 0 has to multiply by this 1. Sorry, this 0. And this 0 has to multiply by this 0. Then again add the 0. So all these things, 0 into 0, 0 into 1, 0 into 0, 0. Then the last column also same 0 into 0, 0 into 0, 0 into 1. 0. So you have to understand how we are getting this J row. If you can consider in a business terminology, it's as a total profit. Per unit, this is per unit profit is given. This multiplication and get it as a total profit. Then you see that this one minus this. Then I am introducing other row, say Cj minus Zj. This is Cj, this is Zj. Cj minus Zj. This is about operation, mathematical operation of minusing 0 Cj minus Zj. So 20 minus 0 is a 20. And here 25 minus 0 is 20. That's how it's 25. Then 0 minus 0, that is 0. Here also 0 minus 0, this was 0 minus 0, this also 0. Now you see how we got it. Cj values, how we got S1, S2, that all material requirements and slug variables values, and Zj values, and Cj minus Zj values. So Scholar, we have to understand clearly. So the table number 1, I have explained the second table, very detailed manner. You have to write it, all these operations, how to perform. Okay? If you have any doubts, you can ask because we are going to go the next process. Okay? Anything you want to ask? Room 109, are you here? Room 109, are you here now? Room 109? Anything you want to ask from students from table number 1? Thereafter, I will explain. Huh? This is the second type. You have to write it in your own language or how to do it, how we can go to CJ, ZJ, and CJ minus ZJ, all the things. You have to write it. Things in your own words. Okay? You can understand these things by reading the text. The notes given. Very difficult, right? Therefore, please, while you are following the course, you have to write it clearly all the course, all information. Right. No doubts, right? So the table 1 is clear. Now, based on the table 1, you can show how to get Cj values. Cj values, and Cj value we are directly get it from the equations 20, x20, y25. So this is one. Someone go and brush on, right? After that, they come and ask, oh, sir, how we can get this value? It's like, so these are the Cj values directly extracted from the equations 1. Objective function 20, 25, S1 0, S2 0, S3 0. From the equation we have got it. Okay. Right. Any other doubts? Now I am going to ask a lot of questions based on table number 1. Right. What is the value of S1 in table number 1? S1. What is the value of S1 the table number 1? 24,000. What is the value of S2 in the table number 1? 26,000. What is the value of X3 in table number 1? Right. So what is the region? Now I am saying the table. I have shaded a region in a blue color. What is the region there? Can you see anything, anyone? This blue color shaded, highlighted one, background is blue color one. These are about what? 200, 200, 300, 300, and 200, 300, 100. These are we got it from where? In the first equation, second equation, third equation. These are the per unit requirements. Please understand that. Otherwise, next process may be difficult. These are the per unit requirements. This 200 is a per unit requirement for product 1. This is per unit requirement for product 1 for material 2. This 300 is the per unit requirement to produce product 1 from material 3. These are the per unit requirements. Understand me, right? Otherwise, the process may be difficult. Then if you look at this second, this 200, 200, 100, what are these? These are the per unit requirements for product 2. Material 1, material 2, and 3. Okay, so this area, the blue shaded area, is a unique area. You see that both the material requirements. This is this 1, 1, 1. Now I am again shading a blue one from these 3, 1, 1, 1. These are the coefficient of slack variable 1, S1. This one is a coefficient of slack variable 1. This one is a coefficient of slack variable 2. This one is a coefficient of slack variable 3. Now you see this other area I am shading. Blue, red, white color. What is the speciality? You say. Likewise, something I have shaded in a blue color, white color. You see in the table. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. These are, so the material 1 is relating to this coefficient 1. Here material, in the first equation, first column, first row, material SY, S2 also, we cannot talk about 0, S3 also we cannot. Only S1 is the first, why this one is given. Okay. In the second row, you see that only we are talking about S2. That is this one. S1 and S3 are silent. No, zero. Okay. In the third row, you see that only about this one is about material 3. This is S1, S2 are 0. We are not, we cannot talk. That is the story about this area. Right? What is this area? Yellow shaded. These are the material 1, material 2, material 3 available. Material 1, material 3, available. Right? So if I multiply this 0 into 20, 0 into this 0 26, this 0 into 22, what is the total profit we can put here? What is the total profit? This is profit. What is the total profit? In the first table. Total profit is 0. Right? We are not producing any units. Right? That's why we have to put 0 here. 1 0 is enough. I have put many zeros. Because this 1 0 is enough. Because this is a profit. You can't just the purple color one is. This 0 is denoting that profit is 0. Because in the production process so far not started, everything is ready. Right? Okay, so 24,000. So you see that if you analyze this table number 1, Analysis and analytical skills for the management side. Because managerial decisions, we have to analyze them, evaluate, and finally make conclusions. So therefore, if you analyze, decompose all these factors, all these variables and sections, if you analyze, you can understand the realities of these values. What does it these indicates? What is 200, 300 column indicate? What is this diagonal values indicate? What is it? And also the how we got it SATJ values. I explain. Multiply by 0, multiply by 0, add, and second column. Multiply by 0, multiply by 0, 200 multiply by 100, add. 0 multiply by 1, 0 multiply by 0, 0 multiply. So then SQ1 with 0 multiply by 0, 0 multiply 1. So all these things become 0. We know that. Because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Right? So therefore, we know that is 0. Right? So then Cj minus Zj value. Right? So deducted one. 20, 20 minus 0, 20. 25 minus 0, 24. 0 minus 0, 0. 0 minus 0, 0. 0 minus 0, 0. Okay? So you have to be very knowledgeable about this table. Sometimes the examination, you may ask this table and interpret. So other important skills, interpretation. Right? So you have to know about interpretation of the table number 1. First table or table number 1. Right? This one is to indicate what? Okay. Now we have to do, after we understand this table number 1, we have to do 5 things. Those are the things I have listed here. We have to find the column in the table number 1. We have to find the key row in the table number 1. We have to find the key value in table number 1. Fourth one, we have to know the entering variable in the next table, in table number 2. And also we have to know the leaving variable in this particular table. Next table. It's not come to next table, it's considered as a leaving variable in the particular table. So, it is also leaving variable for next table. You can look next also, it was correct. Next table. Right? So now these 5 things we have to do. Key column, key row, key value, entering variable, leaving variable. Right? You have to understand CRV, right? C, KC, KR, KV, E and L. Right? E and L. Key column, key row, key value, entering variable and leaving variables. Okay? Right. Now, how to decide the first one? In the first table, key value, key column. Okay, first we have to do key column. That is KC. How to select the key column? That is the question you have to ask. How to select the key column? So out of this Cj minus Zj value, you have to select the largest positive one. So how to select? How to select key column? Out of the Cj minus Zj value, right? This row, I am referring to this shaded one now. 20, 25, 0, 0, 0. How many values are there? 5 values. You have to select largest positive one. That is the rule. So the largest positive one, 20, 25, 0, 0, 0. So what is the largest positive one? 25. What is the largest positive one? Largest positive value which one? 25. Okay. So after that, after identifying this key column, so I'll put it KC and aroma. Okay. We have to come through this way. Key column. We have to give up these total resources. So the 24,000 divided by this 200. 24,000 divided by this 200. Now you see what is happening. You can understand what is happening. Then 26,000 divide into 200. Now practically deeply think about these process. What is really happening? What is really happening? When 22,000 divided into 100, what is really happening? Now you see total material availability divided by per unit requirements. Total availability divided by per unit. You have to write a note on somewhere. I'm not giving a notes. You have to, while I'm explaining, you have to take a note on the total material availability, material one availability divided by per unit requirements for the product 2. That 2 means 1. Because this is deciding after key column is decided. First step is the key column deciding the key column. So after that only we have to go for other steps. 24,000 divided by 200, 26,000 divided by 200, 22,000 divided by 200. Please understand what is happening really. Total material availability divided by per unit requirements. Then the second material, total availability of second material divided by requirements. For the product 2. E column say first priority is given to product 2. It means 1. Then 22,000 divided by 100. Now what is the meaning of this 120, 130 and 220? Can you say anybody? What is the meaning of that? How many units we can produce by using material 1, product 2? How many units? I'm asking how many units we can produce in product 1, in product 2 using material 1. What is the answer?
120 units.
That is about 120 units. Okay, you're asking same questions. How many units we can produce in product 2 using material 2? What is the answer?
130.
130 units. How many units we can produce in product 2 using material 3? Hmm?
220 units.
220 units. Now the rule says out of these 3 values, that is called ratio, you have to select the smallest positive one. What is the smallest one? 120, 130, 220. What is the smallest one?
150.
120. That is the one you have to consider as a key row. So the key column we have selected, second one key row selection. Key row selection, we have to do all these process. So that is identified as a key row. That is the arrow mark is shown, right? It is identified as a key row. right? That is identified as a key row. How to select the key row? After identifications of key column, individual requirements to produce one unit has to be divided by the total material availability respectively for material 1, 2, and 3, and find how many units we can produce in product 2 using material 1, how many units we can produce in product 2 of 1 and 2 using material 2, how many units we can produce in product 2 using material 3. So that is respectively 120 and 130. Out of this, we have to take the smallest. Why we have next important questions? You have answered that. You have really understood all the methods. Why we have to select this smallest value? Why we have to select the smallest? This also reason. Without reason also you can understand. But knowing the reason is to deeply understand the matrix. Why we have to consider smallest? Anybody?
If we choose biggest one, we can face shortage.
Select the biggest one. So 130 or 220. We will face the shortage of the materials. So therefore, we have to considering the which is lowest one without shortage within the because this is a limitations. So maximum availability is given. We cannot go for beyond that. If we want, we can use less than that. So if you choose the biggest one, largest value, then material shortage will excess materials is needed, but that is not possible. If excess material is needed, that is not possible. That's why we have to select the smallest. So the smallest one based on that key column selected, then key row selected. Where these two values are intersect, crossing. So key column is coming this way. Okay? Key row is coming from this way. Where both are intersecting. In which place? S1, Y intersecting. See, this is the place. This is the place both will intersect. Key columns and key row. Right? So that is called the key value. This where key column and key row are intersecting. It's called key value. So then what is the key value? What is the key value?
200.
200 is the key value. Okay. Now we have known three things. How to select key column, how to select key row, how to select key value. Right? Key value. Right? So three things we have known. Okay. Right? Any doubt so far? So three things we have known. How to select the key column, key row, and key value. Why we have to say this as the key value? Right? To understand deeply, where the key row and key column are intersecting per unit requirement. It's a base the calculation because that is the minimum one requirement. Here, while we are selecting key column, we have considered which criteria? While we are selecting key column, we have considered which criteria? What is the criteria to select key column? Friends, what is the criteria to select the key column? Out of Cj minus Zj values, select the largest positive,
Now,
largest value. Actually, what this largest value indicate is the per unit profit loss, per unit net profit, which is giving the highest per unit profit is considered for key column selections. So please take note on that. While we are selecting the key column, right, which is giving the highest per unit profit is our criteria really. That's why we are saying mathematically Cj minus Zj values, select the biggest one, the largest positive one, largest value. Right. Indirectly we are saying while we are two products are there, while we are trying to produce two products, normally a rational person, which one they will give first priority, highest profit or lowest profit?
highest profit.
Highest profit, highest per unit profit. That is the case here. So two products, the product 2 is giving highest per unit profit. Therefore, key column selection are based on that only. But the key row selection only we are looking into that. Material availability is divided by per unit requirements. How many units we can produce? All these things are considered while we are doing the key row selection type. Right? You can understand by reading the books. No, cannot get this information from anywhere. Please take a note on that in your language. So you see that how we are actual scenario is the material requirements only we are considering while we are selecting the key row selections. So after that key value we are selecting third steps. Actually this 200 is considered as a key value. What does that mean? That is a basic requirement to satisfy right maximum availability of material. Right? We are looking at whether possible to without shortage we can do all the calculations. That's why we are considering as a key value. Based on this key value, straight away the area I have shaded that is entering area and horizontally straight away is a leaving area. So S2, S10 is leaving. This is Y25 is entering the next stage. Right? You see that light green shaded thing. This is entering. I put an arrow. This is entering one. This is leaving one. This is leaving. Okay. This is leaving. This one leaving. This one leaving means what? Anyone? This one leaving means what? This one is finished. Friends, please understand. If leaving variable is this one, what does it mean? Right? The material one is represented by S1. It's fully utilized. That's why we are leaving about it. Completely utilized. We don't need to talk about it. The next steps. Because you see 24,000 divided by 200, 120 units we are going to produce the first attempt. So therefore S1 is leaving. There is no more talk for S1. Those all are fully utilized. That's why in the next table we don't need to worry about this. That's why meaning of leaving variable. Entering variable means Y25 is the entering variable. Next, we are going to consider profit calculations. Right? Profit now you see the first table. Profit is how much? The stable profit is how much?
0.
Zero. So, no profit. From second table onward, profit matters is going to arise. So entering variable means we are using that variable to calculate the profit. Leaving variable means really that is technically we are called as a leaving variable, entering variable. But leaving variable means S1 is denote what? Which material? Material 1. Okay. Material 1, 24,000 kilograms is fully utilized to produce 120 units. So therefore, we don't need to talk about. We have to leave it that matter. Something is finished, we are not going to talk about it. So therefore, it says leaving variable. Okay. So this is leaving variable. So these 5 has to be in table 1. Okay. The important things in the next table. In the next table, this 200 should be 0. Straight away below this other 200 should be 1. Other this 100 should be 1. That is the work we have to do. After finishing this, the key value should be 1. Key value should be 1. This 200 should be 0. This 100 also should be 0. In the next table, you see that here 1, these 2 are 0. That is a calculation process. Don't ask why is that. That is a calculation process. One attempt is finished. That's why it's 1 indicate. Other things are in the while we are considering this, other things we are not considered. That's why it's 0. The second material, third material, we are not considered. Only based on the first material, we have taken decisions. 120 units we have to produce. While we are doing that, how many balances are reported here? 2,000 and 10,000. I will tell how to do it. Don't worry now. So after these 5 things, key column, key row, key value, entering variable, leaving variable. Is it okay? Any doubts on those areas? Please. Friends, this is I am explaining maximum. You have carefully listen. You go and brushing and taking bath and going home. Yes, it's not. Right? So carefully listen it down. Anywhere you can cannot do it. Sir, can you explain again why one is entering values? Right? How is y1 is entering? Y is entering based on the key value. Right? We are deciding that all 24,000 material are used in 120 units product in product 2. Okay. Therefore, the next table we cannot talk about S1. Therefore, it's leaving. We can talk about Y. Product 2. Because that is enter for the profit calculations. You see that the second table, you see here, I have shaded in green color, the entering variable as a Y in the place of S1. Already that is S1 is there in the first table. The second one in that place, Y is there, Y25 is there. Goes to the profit calculation. That is why entering variable is decisions. Why, how we are selecting entering variable? All are based on this key value. Key value straight away Horizontally, that value which is there, that is leaving. And vertically, what is top of it, this key value is entering. You can understand, you can make it in that way. Right? Entering variable. The variable which we are going to use it for profit calculation in the next table. The leaving variable means normally the slack variable that materials are fully utilized to produce. But therefore, we cannot talk about it. That's why it's leaving the process. Which is coming into the process is entering variable, that is about profit. Now you see the next table, two things are in the first table, all these materials are user materials. There is no product, no material. But in the second table, you see the 120 values. What is this 120? Why 120 means what? Anyone? Why 120 means what? This is this 120. 120 indicate what in the first table? 120 indicate in the first table what? 24,000 divided by 200 is what? 120. Product 2, number of production units. The product 2, the product units will buy, now how many units we are going to produce? 120. Those 24,000 divided by 200. That is 120. That is the number of units we are going to produce. So you see that is 120 units. What is the profit? Per unit profit? 25 rupees, no? So 120 multiplied by 120 multiplied by 25, how much? 120 multiplied by 25, how much? Much?
3,000.
3,000. Right? Hence, I cannot upload this document. You have to participate.
3,000.
Some students are asking, can you upload this? No, you cannot do. You have to come and participate and do it. So any document from my teaching hours never is documented or uploaded. Right? So therefore, you have to come and you have to write it and you have to do it if you want to take it and you have to face difficulties to learn. Right? So that's the purpose. A single document will be uploaded. Immediately ask me, sir, can you upload it? Yes, I will upload. And upload you, not the document. Be careful. That class is conducted by Zoom, you have to participate. Right? Without participating, just going and here and there and coming asking, can you upload? Why you are here then? Remember that don't ask any document I will upload what I am teaching practice. Any book chapters, anything if you want, I can upload. What I am referring material, explaining material, you see from 11 o'clock to up to now, I am explaining the same sum. Right? So very, very detailed manner. You can't participate and commit. Then why you are here? Leave it from university and do some other works. You are a full-time student, right? Full-time student, you are taking Mahapala, and everything for studies and fund and etc. You are doing some other business, leave it. You have freedom to record, you have freedom to participate. Any single material notes which I am teaching classroom times, never upload it. Right? You come and participate and learn or write it, otherwise leave it if you want. That's okay. Now come to our business. So 25 multiplied by 120, that is 3,000. 25 multiplied by 120, that is 3,000. That is about what? 3,000. The second table.
Profit.
Profit. Yes. The first table profit is how much?
0.
Second table profit is 3,000. How it has happened? Because taking the first material, hero, smallest one, 120 units we are producing in product 2. If it is 25, that's become as an entering variable, 25 into 120, that is 3,000. What is this 2,000? S2 2000. S2, you see here 2000. The solution column 2000. Yeah, what is that? So if you want to produce 120 units in product 2, in material 2, what is the consumption? If you want to produce 120 units in product 2, okay, what is the consumption in material 2? Per unit 200. 200 multiplied by 120, how much? 200 multiplied by 120, how much? 200, right? 200 multiplied by 120 units. How much? 20, 24. So this is about material 2. Material 2. Right? Material 2, you see now in the second table, 24,000 utilized. What is the balance? 26,000 minus 24, what is the balance?
2,000.
That is this 2,000. That is this 2,000. You see here is material 2, but how much balance? Material 2 balance is 2,000 units. Because 24,000 is utilized to produce 120 units. What is this 10,000? 10,000
Unused availability of material 3.
material 3. You see S3 we are using for denote material 3. So material 3, you see 100 units. 100 units required to produce 1 unit. So 100 into how many units we have produced first time? 120. 120. How much? That is 12,000. Material 3, how many total material? 22,000. 22,000 minus 12,000. What is the balance?
10,000.
How much balance?
10,000.
8,000. So you see in the second table, number of units produced also there. That is product 2. That means Y. Balance in material 2 is there. Balance material 3 is also there. But balance material 1 is not there. Why? It has gone. Fully utilized. That's why leaving variable. Entering variable is profit calculation variable. Y 24. So as far as concerned this second table, you see 120 you know, 2000 you know, of course look at this one, and 1000, 10,000 you know, that's balance of material 3. This 3,000 also you know. Right? Okay. So now we have to know the process. How we can proceed and complete the second table. Second table, you see Cj minus Zj values, no change, same things. 20, 25, 0, 0, 3. Okay. And also these values, the blue shaded one, light blue shaded one is I'm giving. This is the new values. How we got these new values? 200 divided by 200 is 1. because we have to make this as a 1. That is a rule. Huh? The key value in the next table should be 1. Values above should be 0. Take a note on that. The key value in particular table, that should be 0 in the next table. Sorry, that should be 1 in the next table. The values above or below. Now here below two values are there, 200, 100. That place should be in the next table, should be 0. That's why I have highlighted it. You know. So how we can make it this value as a 200 as a 1 easily? We can 200 divided by 200 is a 1. So therefore, all the rows should be divided by 1. All the rows should be divided by 200 in the next table. That's why this 200 divided by 200, this is 1. Okay. This 200 divided by 200, that is also 1. This 1 divided by 200, right? We don't need to put the decimals. That's why I put as fractions. 1 by 200. And 0 divided by 200, how much? That is 0. Then again, this 0 divided by 200, that is also 0. And this 24,000 divided by 200, that is 120. You see that? Now you know this how this 200 change as a 1, how this 200 change as a 1, how this 1 change as a 1 by 200, how this 0 change as a 0, how this 0 as 0, how this 24,000 change as 120. You have to all are divided by 200. Right? All are divided by 200. This is the new row. Right? The new row. So I am delete all these values. You understanding? So you have to know how you got it this one. Those 200, the key value 200, here should be 1. It can be 1 easily, and mathematically we have to divide it. 2 divided by 2, 1, 200 divided by 200. Easiest way. The same number divided by that. 200 divided by 1, 200 divided by 200, then so if you are divided one value, the value we have to do the same treatment. That no. So that's why 200 divided by 200 we get 1. This 200 divided by 200, that is get 1. This 1 divided by 200, yeah, I'm not putting decimal point. 1, 2, 200. Then 0, 200, 0. 0 divided by 200, that is 0. 24,000 divided by 200, that is 20. So now you see this is the new. Okay. So the next one, the next calculations we have to seriously look into that. There are some difficulties, right? Move this one, this. So what we have to do that, we have to copy, right? This row, the second row here. I'm copying the second row here, right? You have to copy the second row. So you have to consider this 200 should be 0 in the new table. So this 200. So you have to highlight it or note it. That is the level. Round it to what you want to do. This 200 should be considered value that should be 0 in the new table. So the same place it should be 0. How we are making it as a 0? That is the issue. But we have to do that. To that purpose, This 200 has to multiply by this new row in respective columns, then minus and get the values. That's now you see I'm going to do it. You carefully observe and do it now. I'm inserting the column left. This 300 is there now. Okay. This 200 has to multiply by this new row. 1 multiply this 200. That's why it's getting 200. So 1 into 200, how much?
200.
1. 300 minus 200, how much? 100. Okay. Then you get new row, each value in the new row, respective one. Multiply by this 200 and minus it from this old, the first table, second row. That is why already I copied here. Right. 300, 200, 0, 1, 0, 26,000. Similarly, for the second one, what is the value here? 1, no? This one we have considered already here. This one we have to consider here. This is about this one. Now, for the second one, this 1 multiply by which value? Sorry, this 200. This 200, 200 multiply by this 200 and minus. Go 1 into 200, how much? 200. So if you minus it, how much? 200 minus 200, 0. Okay. This is about this one. Okay. This 200 is common to all. You see that this 200 is a common to all. That is about this 200. Similarly for the third one. Third one. What is the value here? 1 over 200. The same value is here. Multiply by how much? How much? 200. Multiply by 200. So how much the value? 1 over 200 multiplied by 200. That is about what? 1. Okay. Then 0 minus 1. How much? Minus minus is 0 minus 1. The answer is minus 1. Okay. This is about this. Similarly, the next two, right? So this 0, the new column 0 has to multiply how much? 200. Then what is the value here? 0. 1 minus 0, 1. Then I insert the no, this is about this 0. 0 multiplied by 200. Everywhere 200 is a common factor. You see carefully. Right? Then next one is 0 has to multiply by 200. How much? This also 0. 0 minus 0, 0. Okay? This 0 is about this. One is a common. Then here, the last here, this 120 multiplied by how much? 200. So how much? 20 multiplied by 200. 24,000. So it is about 20. Is 26,000 minus 24,000. What is the balance? 2,000. Now you see that this is 120. So after taking the new row, that value which we are going to make it 0, that 200. 200 has to multiply by, we have to write it this row, second row first. Okay. It's everything 300, 200, 0, 1, 0, 26,000. Then the 200 has to multiply by new row, right? And minus it goes back. That value is come as this 100 will come here. This 0 will come here. This minus 1 will come here. This 1 will come here. This 0 will come here. So this 2,000 will be. Now to this calculation. Similarly, for the next part, we have to copy this third. Third here. 300 from the table number 1. 300, 100, 0, 0, 1, 20. You see the same thing. 300, 100, 0, 0, 1, 22. Which one we have to, for the multiplication, we have to consider this one. Because key value is first, second, below this 200 that is finished. Then the last is 3, 1, we have to do it. So this is, now we have to multiply by the other one, other calculation process. So this one. Okay. Then if you consider that one, same treatment I have to do. So I put it again, first one. So the new row, again this one has to multiply by 100. Then here 100. 300 minus 100, how much? This 200. Okay. Similar way, this one has to multiply by 100. One has to multiply by 100. Then how much? This is also 100. So 100 minus 100, 0. Here, here, yes, this one. 1 by 200, 1 by 200 multiplied by 100. So much. It's about half. 1 by 2. Right? So that should be minus from 0. That is minus. It's minus. The next one. The 0 has to multiply by 100. This C. 0 minus 0, 0. Then next one. This C has to multiply by 100. This is about that is 1. Then this last one. This 120. This 120 multiplied by 100. That is about 12,000. So if you minus it, you will get 10,000. It's all the calculations. Now you see these values. This 200 is to come here. This 200. And this 0 is to come. This minus 1. This 0. This 1 has to come. Anything. Problem is equal. If you from this 200 have to multiply by new row minus it. The second 100, the third row has to multiply by new row and minus it. That's all. So if you want, you can take photo, right? 20, I'm not giving any options. We are finished. I'm removing this one. If you want to take photo, you can take it. This level. Now, get EJ value, ZJ value. Also get CJ value, ZJ value. So if you do that for the second table, 25 into 25, 25 into 125. This is 0 into 100, 0, 0 level and all. You have to do this 20. So the second column, 25 multiplied by 1, 0 multiplied by 0, 0 multiplied by 0, and all, that is also 20. Similarly for the third S1, 25 multiplied by 1 by 200. 25 multiplied 1 by 200. That is 1 by 8. This is multiply 0. This is multiply 0. Then here 1 by 8. Then this 25 has to multiply by this 0. That is 0. Here 0 multiplied by 1. That is 0. 0 multiplied here. Then last one, this 25 has to multiply by this 0. This 0 has to multiply this 0. This 0 has to multiply this. Finally, 25 has to multiply by 120. 0 has to multiply 2000. 0 has to multiply 10,000. The last two are 0. This is 1000. 25 multiplied by 200. That is 10,000. 25 multiplied by 120. That is 3,000. That is the. Now you see that. Find the Cj minus Zj value. Cj minus Zj. 20 minus 25 minus 2. This is 0. 25 minus 25, that is 0. It's 0 minus 1 by 8 minus 1 by 8. And here 0 minus 0, that is 0. 0 minus 0. So this is the second table. We have to finish the sum because why? You see that how we can know about we have completed the work. The Cj minus Zj value taking 0 minus value, that means it is maximized. Beyond that we cannot do. Because key column cannot be selected because like all are 0 and minus value, no profit. So that indicate it is maximized. We have to indicate it is maximized. We have to. Okay. So now you see the second table we have given up. Now if you interpret the second table, you know this is 120 means number of units we are going to produce in product 2. This is balanced material in material 2. Let's denote as 2. This is balanced material in 310. If it is 3 things. So now we are, in order to maximize the profit, we are not producing both products. Here only possible to produce only one product, highest. That is product 2. How many units we are producing? 20. So according to these examples, product 1 we are not producing anything. Product 1 is denoted by X no, that is 0. We are not producing anything. Product 2, product 1 denoted by X, that is 0. Product 2, product 2 denoted by Y, number of units, that is how much? 120 units. Then material 1 fully utilized. We utilize. Material 2, how much balance?
2000.
Material 2 denoted by 2000. It's a balance. 1000 units, not kilogram. kg, yeah? Kilograms. Then material 2, material 3, it is a balance.
10,000.
10,000 units, that means in the kg, kilograms. So these are the solution. So from the second table, everything is there. Right? So this, by looking at these values, you have to stop the work because why? You see all these more profit. Cj minus Zj is a net profit. So now you see everything is pretty nice. There is no balance. There is no anything for earn profits. Therefore, polar minus value and 0. So therefore, that is the place we have to stop. So the solutions are product 1, we are not producing anything. Product 2 is 120 units. Material 1 will utilize all 24,000 grams. Material 2, we are using 24,000 we have utilized. Balance is 2,000 units. Material 3, 12,000 is utilized. Balance is 10,000. Full information get on the screen. Okay. You understood fine. Not understood. We have got using almost 4 hours that take to explain this table. Last week, last 2 hours, and today 2 hours. So if you understood, that's good. If you are not understood, definitely. Because these are definitely come to exams. Whatever we learn, there is no topics. It should be behind the exam. Okay. Anything you want to ask from students regarding this? Because I have class 30. Any doubts? Anything? Or if you don't have, we can finish it. There is no class for 1:30. Yeah. Friends?
Okay, sir.
So you go and refresh it. There is no class for 1:30. That class I have taken. I have 1:30 and then third year systems I have a class. Huh? Okay. Thank you very much. If you don't have any doubts, if you have any doubts, you can ask. 5 minutes second. So the important things, students, you have to participate. The subject you cannot learn last month. Right? You see, if you come, sometimes difficult. If you participate, sometimes difficult. You participating, brushing your teeth, in taking washroom, all the things has affected. Be serious. Last time also 50% are failed. They will repeat it. Paper is the standard. When you repeat standard is maintained. So please participate and try to understand. Otherwise, we have okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
To have any positive and table 2, then we have to continue. Yes, right. So the form 71, there are positive values. You have to repeat the same steps. It's important things. So in the second table, you see Cj minus Zj value, all are minus or 0 values. Therefore, there are any positive value, 1 or 2 or 3 or you have to do again the same steps. You have to find the key value, key column, key row, entering key value, entering variable, leaving variable. Yes, we have to continue. So you are lucky with the next table, the solution we have got it. Normally exam you have to have minimum 4 tables. Right? Examination question you have to do minimum 4 tables. Maximum also sometimes you have to practice. Okay. Right. So good doubts you have asked. There are any positive value in Cj minus Zj or table 2, then you have to continue. Yes. Today I cannot know these things. You have to then you can take. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.